hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to week 3 of ear training 3. This week we're going to be focusing more on chords that are applied to the dominant. So 5 of 5, 7 of 5, 5 7 of 5, 7 7 of 5. All of these are chords which are applied to 5. But first, for warm-ups, what I want to do is a couple of exercises where we take some things, some string of notes, and then reinterpret them in another key, often a key that's a fifth away. And what that's going to do is help us try to wrap our minds around this idea of being in a key briefly that is a fifth away. So being in the key of 5, or then getting back to the key of 1. And this is going to continue being important because next week we're going to talk about being in the key of 4, and then the week after that we're going to talk about being in the key of 6, and so on. So the next couple of weeks what we're going to be doing is talking about being in the key of another sub-key for a short period of time. I'm the key of 1! I'm the key of 5! Rawr! So let's start out with just singing up a regular scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then back down. Just regular do, ti. Actually, let's take it in this key. And you're just singing it regular. So ready and do, re, mi, fa, sol, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing, but I want to start with this note being so. So we just had this note being do. And if this note is so, then think about where do would be. If this is so, then I want you to walk it down. You could mute me right now and try it on your own. But if this is so, then walk it down to do. So, fa, mi, re, do. Alright, so now if this is so, let's do the scale so to so. So it will be, so, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, so, and then go back down. Ready? And so, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, so, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so. Let's do something harder. Now let's try that same thing with this note being fa. Alright, if this is fa, I want you to think about walking that back down to do. And again, challenge yourself to mute me and take this note, call it fa, and go fa, mi, re, do, down to where, and then so you'll hear do in your head. So fa. Okay, now you can turn me back on and check it. So if this is fa, then fa, mi, re, do. Alright, so now we're going to do this scale fa to fa. Ready? And fa, so, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, fa. And you really want to feel that, like, that angst that comes along with doing a fa to fa scale. It feels really, really unresolved, right? Really, really unresolved, right? So I would encourage you to keep going down that path and just in your ear training warm-ups, try to sing a scale that starts on the same pitch, but change the scale degree. So start singing do to do, then go so to so, then go fa to fa, then maybe it's me to me. Me to me is very hard. La to la. Little easier. We'll do a couple of these in the coming weeks, but it would be awesome if you did a little bit of that in your own practice. Practice, 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 practice. So let's practice a few of these things that I put on the OWL assignment, where I play a chord progression, then I give you a scale degree, and you tell me what scale degree it is. So if we do this, there's do, and then I play, I would say, hey, what scale degree is that? You would say fa. And the way that I think that you should go about this is that you sing this to yourself. You go, and then you try to connect it to do. So there's two steps. The first step is you hear that and you think do, and then you hear, and you have to relate them. And so you go, ba bum bum bum, oh, fa mi re do, because it was four things. Fa mi re do. And so if I did something like this, first of all you would sing do, and I went, so this is do, and you've got this. Now there's a couple of things that you could think. You could think, well, that's a third. You could come to the conclusion that way. You could go do, do, do. You could come to the conclusion that way. Or you could go do, 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 do. You could come to the conclusion that way. Or you could hear do, and you could hear that as a sixth and come to the conclusion that way. So there's a variety of pathways that you can go down to come to these, but this is la ti do, and so that the answer would be la. I put a couple of chromatic ones in there, so the chromatic ones, they always have the chromatic step first, the chromatic scale to be first. And so if you hear, that means that that's diatonic, that's going to be a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And then the first one's going to be one of the chromatic degrees to it. So if you do this, the first thing that you do, make sure that you can hear do, do, and then make sure that you can hear where you're going. That's going to be mi. You could walk it down, mi, re, do, or hear that that's a third, or just sort of hear the quality of mi, or maybe you did this and it's a sixth, and you're like, oh, it's a sixth up. So all these ways that you can get to hearing that as mi, or you could hear that it's the third of the tonic chord, whatever. But then you heard, and you know that the exercise is talking about chromatic scale degrees, and so you know that it's the chromatic scale degree that's below mi. So that means it must be re mi, because it's going up to mi. So re mi. So let's do another one. So first, think in your head what's do. Then think in your head where you ended. Then think in your head what the chromatic gesture was. So do, then so, then what's the chromatic? Le so, and it's not si so because it's going down. So le so. And here's one more. Here's one more. Here's do. Here's where you went. And here's the chromatic. So do, so, be so. So that's the thought process that I think you should go through when you do these scale degree finding exercises.
That would be how I'd do it. Good job, scale degree horse.